All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about my own experiences when being a student in Damascus. Hopefully, this will inspire some of you to, inshallah, pursue Islamic knowledge, maybe come to Shaam, and there's so many ulama. But I first heard about Syria from one of my college friends who was a Syrian brother, and I always felt Syrian people have this sincerity, this humility in them. I always felt this softness of heart. So the brother, he enrolled me in the college in Damascus, and he had his brother meet me in the airport. First time when I came to Syria, the first experience was in 2001, and I just couldn't imagine how soft-hearted the people are. It's so soft. The brother who met me in the airport, his name's Mahir, just the softest person you could ever meet. You know, just the kindness and soft-spoken and sensitive. And how the people you find is generally speaking the people of Sham, they have this soft-heartedness, subhanallah. And when you go to the stores, one thing I noticed is that Sham was protected from all the materialism, all the Western corporations, because they had sanctions. You don't have McDonald's, Burger King, all these corporations. You have like actual, real stores run by real people, subhanallah. And so it's so simple, the it's been protected, and somehow by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his own wisdom, he protected Asham from being corrupted by the materialism, even in their poverty, that they're somewhat protected from the materialism of the modern age, subhanallah. Satellites were illegal in Asham. And this is when internet was just starting out, 2000. So they had a few internet cafes, but that was just starting out. Actually, they didn't really even have it. So the people were protected from all the corruption of the outside world. Another thing I noticed about the people of Asham is that they always have dhikr on their tongues and salah on the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you're talking to somebody, even if say you're buying like something from a store, you're buying a pen, and then the person says it costs this much, and then you say, no, I want to pay this much, and then he'll say, Salli ala nabi. Salli ala nabi. They say that just to make you relax. So it's always on their tongue. Salli ala nabi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And anything happens, they always make salah on the Prophet. They have so much love for the Prophet. I've never seen people from any country like as much as the people of Sham, how much they love the Prophet. And even the children, Allah's name is always on the tip of their tongues. I remember seeing some kids playing in the street, 5-6-year-old kids, and one of the kids tripped, and his friend was only about 5-6 years old. He says, Allah yajiruk. Allah yajiruk means may Allah save you. That's over here they would say a curse word. The kids in the Sham, they make dua for each other, subhanallah. Another thing I noticed about the children of the Sham is they kiss their parents' hands. It's a habit they have. When they meet their parent, they kiss their hand and put it on their forehead. They have so much respect for their elders and for their shuyukh. And the shuyukh of Asham, they call them candy eggs. They have these little eggs with nuts inside and keep them in their pocket, and they give them to the children. So they have love. They have this love for their shuyukh and their teachers. And the shuyukh are very humble. You can approach them. You can come to their houses. You can sit down with them. You can hold their hand. They're very accessible. It's not like they just have their lesson and they leave. They're very, very friendly and very nice. One of my teachers, we had a class on Sahih Bukhari, the great book of Hadith, Sahih Bukhari. It ended up like 3,000 or 4,000 students came, filled the masjid, 3 floors. So one of the students was eating during the class. So the Shaykh is narrating Hadith, and he sees one of the students eating. So he interrupts the class, and he said, I see that you're eating. And then the student felt embarrassed. He said, did you bring enough for everybody? So he was just, joking and, being friendly with the students, subhanAllah. And alhamdulillah, very, very kind. You can, on Eid, everybody visits the mashayikh. Like, it was on Eid day, they say they go pray Eid prayer. Then they go and get ready to visit the mashayikh. Subhanallah. And the people are, alhamdulillah, if you go in a taxi, you go in a grocery store. A lot of people, I was confused in the beginning. You go in the grocery store and you buy like some bread, and the owner of the store says, Khalni alayna. That means, I'll pay for it today. Don't pay anything. And they say this every time you go there. Not just, so it's just a kind of like, nobility of character. Like, I don't want to, I'm not forcing you to pay for this. Let me pay for it. Usually 99.9% of the time people pay for it. But they just say that to be nice to you. They're just saying it to be nice. They'll let me pay for it today. Just as a informality. And then whenever you leave the masjid or you're walking with people, they say, when you get to their house, when they have to leave, they say, tafaddal, come to my house. Every time. Not just like, they plan it ahead of time. Every time, tafaddal. Just as, I don't want to leave you. You can come and we can come in the house together, And they always do that every time. Every day after Fajr, they'll tell you the same thing. Tafaddal, tafaddal. It's morning, everybody wants to go to sleep, but it's part of their culture, part of their habit to be welcoming to strangers, to neighbors, subhanAllah. Alhamdulillah. One of the funny things that happened to me in Ramadan, I was there. I thought in Ramadan it's going to be like in the US where we have dinners in the masjid and everybody's going to eat together. So I went to the masjid for Maghrib. There was a young person leading Salah, and only like a handful of people praying Maghrib. And then I prayed my Sunnah, and I said Salam to my right and my left, and the whole masjid was empty. There's nobody. And I went out in the streets, nobody. Everything closed. So I was the only one because everybody was home eating with their families. SubhanAllah. Alhamdulillah. So yes, it's a beautiful, and there's so much barakah. And what I meant when the Prophet ﷺ said the angels have their wings over the people of Shaam, I think to me it's like that softness of heart where they cry when they hear the Quran, they cry in their du'a. You see that sincerity when they're making du'a. You see them like that soft-heartedness, which is unfortunately lacking. We're losing it more and more. They have that softness when they hear the Quran, they recite the Quran, that sincerity, subhanAllah, that connection with Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of the examples of barakah in the Shaam, I've seen things that are very strange. Like they have bread factories, and they literally put the bread on the sidewalk to dry, or on the walls, and it's clean. Everything is so clean there that you can eat the bread from the ground, subhanAllah. And there was a drinking fountain in front of my house, and all day long people would come and drink water from the same cup, subhanAllah. People are God-fearing. They don't, there's no diseases that go around because people don't do zina, they don't do haram, alhamdulillah. And so there's this barakah, this protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One thing I remember, even when I was there, I said, this is only in a Shaam. There was a truck leaking oil onto a hill, and the cars were slipping driving up the hill. And it just went on the whole day. And I said, La ilaha illallah, if this happened in America, there would have been like fire trucks all around and an emergency and red tape and closing it off and on the news. And here in the Shaam, these people just keep going on, they're going about their lives, subhanAllah. So it's alhamdulillah, you see this peace. And if anybody's been to Shaam, my sisters have been to Shaam, women were so safe that you would see women can go out 2, 3 in the morning, they do all the time, visiting each other, coming home without fearing anything. It's the strangest thing. And people go out at night, they don't fear, there's nothing happens, alhamdulillah. The women were safe and they go out at night by themselves without any fear. Subhanallah. It's a peace that was there. This is all before these are the positive things. Now let me talk about the negative things, which is the government, which was in charge, which was put in power by the French when they left Syria. The government was run by the Alawite sect, and it was a very, very oppressive government. People lived in fear constantly of the government. I remember when I first arrived and I saw a statue of Hafiz al-Assad. We were just walking in a neighborhood and I just pointed at it, and my friend panicked. He said, "What are you doing?" He grabbed me by the hand. He was quiet, he didn't tell me anything. He took me home right away. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "You can't point at the statue. You can go to jail, you can get beaten. The secret police are everywhere. Secret police are constantly watching. The mukhabarat everywhere watching. And every third store, every masjid, there's mukhabarat writing down people's names, people who go to the masjid for Fajr, people who have beards." And there was a student who was studying there, and he wanted to have a little gathering in the masjid to go over Quran. And so he did it. He didn't get permission from the government. He disappeared. He disappeared. Everybody was looking for him. His parents were looking for him. Nobody knew what happened to him because he didn't and because he was trying to teach about Islam. So you had like the best people with the worst government. It was really a disbalance, subhanAllah. And you could see that, the people who have been in fear, they couldn't, you can't say the word president. So we had to create a code name. So all over Damascus, you have pictures of the Bashar al-Assad wearing an army uniform. So we called him G.I. Joe. And so our code name was Joe. Whenever we wanted to say something about the president, we would just say Joe because we don't want to get in trouble. And so it was so much fear. Any student of knowledge would be pursued, would be kicked out. The students of knowledge would come on a tourist visa. And if they found out you're studying Islam, they would take you to jail and immediately deport you. So it was a struggle. Many people had to leave because they couldn't get visas to stay. They couldn't get iqamas, what they call iqamas, visas to stay. But alhamdulillah, the barakah, the blessing that we got from the shuyukh was so beautiful. The gatherings of knowledge, you feel like you're sitting in Jannah. It's so peaceful, learning the knowledge, sitting together with people all in the same heart, wanting to learn about the religion of Allah, and you feel so close to the original message because this was the land where all these prophets were walking and teaching. So you feel that in the mashayikh, you feel that they have this, this purity in the way they teach, alhamdulillah. So it was a beautiful experience, alhamdulillah. I hope any of you young people, if you get a chance, hopefully when there's things are more settled down, I'm sure they will be, inshallah, you can go and learn from the mashayikh over there, inshallah. Spend some time. A lot of sisters used to study there. My own family, some of my sisters, they studied there. They learned Arabic there, alhamdulillah.